Chakradev, Jai Masters. Like everything else deep, very few really understand yoga. Because it requires an understanding of what's actually going on, and most of us don't have a clue. First, let's start backwards. What is going on? If you had total clarity, total awareness, had reached a real high state of peace, serenity, and I'll just call it clarity within yourself, what would you see? First, you would see that you see. You're conscious. You're the seer. You're aware. But you wouldn't be aware of your mind, and you wouldn't be aware of your emotions. You would be aware of the fact that there's this flow of energy, chi, shakti, spirit, all names for the same thing. This flow of energy that's rising up within you like a waterfall, like a fountain, a steady upward rise, and your consciousness is being bathed by it. It's coming back into you and falling over you and bathing you, feeding you. That would be your experience inside. That's what is going on. It's rising up from below, coming up from your spine, and rising up. It gets stronger and stronger as it comes up. And its experience is one of joy, of ecstasy, of beauty, of love. There's no words for it. You're being fed from inside. That is your natural state. That is what is meant to be. That is what was created to be. That is, just like your body was meant to be healthy. Yes, certainly there are times of sickness. But in general, if you look at the structure of your body, it was meant to be healthy. It has an immune system, it has structure, it has all sorts of stuff that keep it healthy, doesn't it? All right? It's an amazing thing. Your inner state is way higher than your body. Your body's physical gross matter. Your inner state is very high energy. That is the natural state of your being. That there is this upward flow of energy that is bathing you, feeding you, drawing your attention to it. Should you choose to use your mind, you do have a mind. That's not your mind. You're the consciousness. You're aware, and what you're aware of is this feeding, this beautiful flow of health, of well-being, of love, of joy. Call it Ananda. Yoga call it Ananda, ecstasy, joy. You're experiencing that. So let's say you choose to use your mind. The energy that makes your mind is form. You develop, you're literally taking that energy that I'm talking about and you're using it to develop form. You develop thought forms, you develop emotions and so on. So that energy turns into thoughts. You can turn it into thoughts. You have the ability to do that. That energy is the source of everything. So, should you choose to use and have thoughts, you can start thinking about something. You can think about making air conditioning. You can think about what it would be like to fly. You can think about measuring gravity. You can think about how to overcome that gravity. Like Microsoft says, where do you want to go today? You go anywhere you want. The computer has limitations. Your mind does not. So, whatever thoughts you want to create, you can create, can't you? Make a boat in there. I want to see a boat in there. Okay, bigger. Queen Mary. Okay, now a baseball player running after a fly ball. Okay, whatever you want. You have the ability to create thoughts. You have will. So you in there, notice, I only want to start. I never start this way. I usually start down there in the mess. I'm starting up here in the high state. I only want to talk about two things, and ultimately you're going to find I'm only talking about one thing. But for now, I'm going to let there be two. There's your consciousness, and what it is aware of is this Shakti, this energy flow, this chi, spirit. I don't care what you want to call it. I'm going to call it Shakti because I'm a yogi. So it comes up and it feeds you. So you're comfortable, you're at peace, you're serene, you're content. You need nothing. You need nothing. You need nothing. If I sit you down in a room alone, you don't have to go into cross-leg. You don't have to do an om. You sit down and you're in ecstasy. You don't go into ecstasy. You're in ecstasy. This is feeding you. There's nothing to do. There's no techniques. There's nothing. Just like there's no techniques for being healthy naturally. It's your natural state of affairs. There's cells in there that are doing it for you. This energy is doing that. It is your natural state. If you think this sounds weird, Christ said, I will send unto you the Holy Spirit, the great Comforter, and through this all things shall be revealed unto you. That is what he's talking about. It's the energy flow that naturally unfolds inside of you and feeds you. Man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that leaveth the mouth of the Father. He's telling you that, right? I was in the Spirit of the Lord day, and I felt the rush of holy waters. It is your natural state, period. The most depressed person in the whole world, their natural state is ecstasy. So the first thing I've added, I've only taken two things. Consciousness, which is aware of what it's experiencing. And what it's experiencing is this, I don't want to give a name to it, you'll experience it. Joy, love, upward lifting, this flow that flows inside of you and bathes you and pulls you into it. So far, that's your state. If I leave you alone, that's what you're feeling. That's what you're experiencing. Great yogis, that's it, put them anywhere. The story of Yogananda was once traveling on a train. It was a long train ride, and the conductor kept coming by, and finally he stopped and bothered Master, who was just sitting there. But he was sitting there with this really beautiful smile on his face and this glow around his face. And the conductor asked him, what are you thinking of? And Master said, nothing. What are you doing? He said, I'm enjoying it. And he could just sit there for hours. It didn't make any difference. It was his natural state. It was as much fun as you have at Disney World or in a love affair. He's experiencing the beauty of this flow. That is what's going on in there. Now, you have the right, because you have will, you, the consciousness, are the center of volition, the center of will. You can focus, that's how you use your will, you focus the energy of your consciousness onto that flow, and you can create thoughts. Believe it or not, I'm talking very deep to you tonight, I don't usually do this. Those thoughts are made out of that energy. That energy can be formed into anything. You form it into thoughts. The mystical, they call them thought forms. You create thoughts. That which you saw, a boat, right, is something you created with the energy of those thoughts. So your mental plane is just a lower vibration of slowed down Shakti, of slowed down energy, and of the highest energy slowed down, and you direct it into creating thoughts. Your emotions are exactly the same. If there's a feeling of fear, if there's a feeling of love, there's a feeling of whatever, not the love I'm talking about. There's different, it's hard because of words. We don't have the right words because we don't live at this level. I just assume call it ecstasy. And ecstasy includes love, and it's just this upward flow of total fulfilling upliftment. What you mean by love is an emotion. It is made of that energy. It will come and go, won't it? You will feel it sometimes, you will not feel it other times. It is conditional. It will require conditions to be a certain way in order for it to be there. It is an emotion. It is something that's made of that energy. It's not the energy itself. It's a form of the energy. Love is no different than fear. They both come and go, don't they? All right? Just one feels a lot nicer than the other. But they're the same substance, they're the same essence. They're a temporary state of a vibration inside of you, which we as humans call emotions. Don't you think of love as an emotion? True love is not an emotion. True love is the pure flow of Shakti, of Chi, pouring up inside of you, feeding you. Like Yogananda, he didn't call it upward flow love, he called it divine love, pure love. The other is human love. I don't like words, all right? But I'm telling you, what you feel as love is a conditional state of the energy forming this beautiful emotion form. Just see it as a thing, just like you saw a boat. Instead of seeing a boat, that's the mental, you're experiencing love. Or you're experiencing fear, or you're experiencing insecurity, or you're experiencing self-consciousness. These are all just emotions that come up inside, like little balloons of energy. The energy is made out of Shakti. It's all made of the same energy. Your thoughts are made of the same energy, your emotions are made of the same energy, just vibrating at a different rate. And willfully you have the ability to create these things. So what I'm doing now is showing you the pure state is your consciousness being fed by the flow of energy inside. You have the right, and there's nothing wrong with it, to play. It's a sandbox. You were given the right to create. So you can create thoughts. You can create emotions. All right? And you can experience the world. You can look out and see what's out there. And you can feel joy and rush. Look, there's a person. Look, there's a bird. Look, there's something singing. All right? You do that in music sometimes, don't you? Right? The music becomes so beautiful that you lose yourself completely. It raises you beyond yourself. You're not having thoughts. You're not having emotions. You're just experiencing the music touching you. And, that's a pure state. You're going back to the pure energy. Like music has always been high in the hit parade. It's all about where are you living? If you're living in the flow of spirit, if you're living in the flow of the uplifting energy, your life is ecstasy. Whatever's happening outside just causes more of a beauty of the energy flow. So this is your life, and that's what it's meant to be. So you have this beautiful flow feeding you, so you need nothing or no one. You have the ability to create thoughts so you can explore and test and experiment and be Einstein out there falling in elevators through space and think about the speed of light and do whatever you want. You're not limited to your senses, are you? When I was in elementary school, I was taught the difference between a human and another animal is the ability to have abstract thought. I have the ability, and so do you, to use my mind to do whatever I want. I can abstract my thought from what's coming in through my senses, right? The scientists do not believe animals can do that. But the net result is you have the ability to have abstract thought. And so your will has the ability to create these thoughts, create these emotions, and you can experience the world. What's wrong with that? Nothing. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's great. The problem is, and I've discussed this many times with you, I'll do it very quickly, but it's important once in your life you understand what happened. The world as it unfolds and it comes in hits you different ways. There are different vibrations. Everything has a different vibration. A high note has a different vibration than a low note. Health has a different vibration than sickness. Birth has a different vibration than death, doesn't it? That's not something you have to think about. Everything has a vibration. And when that vibration comes into you, it touches you. The flow of the energy can handle it. It just feels different. It's as simple as that. And that's what it's supposed to do. Variety is the spice of life. That's the yin-yang that they talk about, right? Everything has a vibration. It all comes in, but all has its beauty. Death has its beauty. Birth has its beauty. Sickness has its beauty. Health has its beauty. All of it is teaching you something. All of it is experiential. You're becoming a greater being because these things are coming in and feeding you. The more that you experience, the wholer you become. Just like anything else. The more you practice, the better you get. The more that life comes in and touches you, and now you don't have to worry about it because you're feeling the strength of this flow of energy feeding you. So when the world comes in, it's just flowing into that energy. It feels different. Some things don't feel so nice, but it doesn't matter because you're fine. You're fed inside. You're whole. That's your natural state. But what happens is, what you have done, and don't worry, everybody else has too, is when something comes in that you don't like, you create a thought about it. You create a thought that I don't like that. It isn't just an experience. It's an experience and a judgment, a thought, a concept. And you develop a thought that I don't like that, then you develop a thought that says I don't want to experience it again. The minute you do that, you have brought yourself out of harmony with reality. Because reality unfolds and you experience it. No, not anymore. What you say inside your thought pattern is, I don't want reality unfolding. I want it to be the way I want. I had experiences that I didn't like. They better never happen again. I had experiences I did like. They better keep happening. And so you use your mind, which I said you can create whatever thoughts you want. Those are thoughts you created, weren't they? Thoughts of like and dislike and concepts and views and preferences. Now you're not capable of experiencing what happens next. Do you understand that? You're not open. You're not clear. That's called non-clarity. You're not walking into the moment experiencing what's happening. You're walking in the moment wanting something to happen or not wanting something to happen. Can you relate to that? Because that's what it's like all the time. And it's not just a matter of wanting or not wanting. It's needing, desiring, or fearing. Isn't it? That's what happens. When you build this model inside your head based upon the past experiences you had, and again, if you take this beautiful flow of full Shakti feeding you and turn it into fixed thought patterns that disturb you, that's a dumb thing to do. You took the most beautiful part of your being that you could form anything you wanted with, and you formed thought patterns that bother you, and then you try to use your mind to figure out how the world needs to be so you'll be okay. You get so lost, it's ridiculous. And that is the state of humanity. Completely lost. So once you've created enough of these thought forms, these thought patterns, your self-concepts, your views, your opinions, your preferences, those are all thoughts. They're just thoughts created, and not you. You're the one who notices that you have those thoughts. You're the ones who get bothered by those thoughts. God, my thoughts are really bothering me, right? Your thoughts ever bother you? Who are you? If your thoughts can bother you, then you're not your thoughts. You're the ones being bothered by your thoughts. So that's what it's all about, is who are you in there? So this is what you did. You used the energy to create these thought forms because you were given free will, and you built them based upon your past experiences. Man is the sum of his learned experiences. No, you're not. Your mind is the sum of your learned experiences. What you did with your mind is the sum of your learned experiences. You're the one who notices. You're the consciousness, all right? So basically you build that model inside, and that model is very, very complicated. I'm not going to talk about it tonight because I want to go deep. But you tell me how complicated that model is. Every experience you ever had, you label good or bad, pretty much, right? There are a few, the white lines you let go by without much judgment. And there are dotted lines on the road when you drive by. You don't keep all those in there, I hope. But you have these experiences. You have a good or bad feeling when it comes in. There's nothing wrong with that. Things have different vibrations. I try to give you that so you don't argue with me. Things do have different vibrations. Marriage does feel different than divorce. There's nothing wrong with that. Doesn't mean you don't try to stay married. It doesn't mean, you can work on things. Nobody's saying that. But you have to understand that everything has its own vibration. And if you happen to be going through that vibration, you're going to feel the vibration of the thing. You will feel the joy of marriage. You will feel the sadness of divorce. You will feel the joy of birth. You'll feel the sadness and loss of death. It's natural. If you don't feel it, there's something wrong with you. It doesn't mean you're not okay in there. I can be okay in here feeling joy, feeling, strength. Let's just call it that. Depth, strength, strong. I'm not being lost in the feeling that I'm having. I'm experiencing the feeling, and I'm willing to learn from it. I become a wholer person because I'm having this experience. But when you are not willing to, and you don't do that, then what you do is you try to avoid the experience by having a thought built about it that says, I don't like it, I don't want it, or a thought, I want it, and now you end up with all these concepts and views and preferences and likes and dislikes and all that garbage that you built thoughts about. And what they will do is ruin your life, period. They will ruin your life. Why? Because instead of living your life and experiencing your life, you are living those thoughts. They're telling you what you like. They're telling you what you don't like. They're telling you when you can be happy. They're telling you when you can't be happy. It's bad enough that when someone died, you felt sadness. Okay, fine. That's what happened. Now you don't like death, and you're afraid that other people will die, and you're not going to get married because someday he might die. And I don't want to go through this. So it's bad enough when my mother died. I don't want to have a husband that died, so I ain't getting married. Oh, I'm so proud of you. You made a complete mess of everything. Do you understand that? I hope that was an exaggeration. But the net result is by the time you're done doing that, you're a mess. Because now you can't walk into reality and experience it because you're too busy judging it. You're too busy being afraid of it. You're too busy desiring something from it. And so now you're out there. If that was enough, I could stop. But you went further. You went way further down than that. Now what you do, because your mind is telling you can't be happy till she likes you, you can't be happy till this happens, you're going to be sad if that happens. Well, you don't want to just wait and see if it happens. And so you do this amazing thing. It always shivers my spine to talk about. You say, I'm going to make it be the way I want. That world out there that I used to experience, no, I'll have none of that. From now on, things are going to be the way I want. Don't drive like that in front of me. I want you driving faster. Drive slower. You're driving too fast. It's so cute. It's unbelievable. Light, don't change. Don't change. I'm in a rush. Weather, don't rain. Don't rain. No hurricane, don't come. I have a wedding. Hello? Who do you think you are? Sitting in there that used to experience this beautiful energy, then you made all these messed up thoughts based on your past experiences about how it needs to be for you to be okay, and now you're the boss? Right? You're going to go out there and manipulate and control the world to make it be the way you decided it needed to be based on your past experiences? That's the fall from the garden. You are now in big trouble. You must now, as the Bible says, work by the sweat of your brow to get anything, don't you? You have to struggle. Even to get someone to love you. You don't even let love be natural. You think you need to wear certain clothes. You need to act certain ways. You better not ever say anything. You better come out in a fancy car. You better, right? Look at all the things you need to do to try to win somebody's heart. If you win their heart, you can lose their heart. Do you understand that? And you wouldn't even know what it is that won their heart. So now you'll be neurotic about what to wear next time or what you were supposed to say. Now, let's say at the end of the day, someone says, I'll tell you there were times tonight you just blew me away. Bye. Oh, are you in trouble? Which times were those? Maybe you picked the wrong ones. I don't know how to act next time. You know what I'm saying is true. You're a neurotic mess in there because you did this. I started this by saying how beautiful it was inside. You took this beautiful Shakti, this beautiful Chi, this beautiful flow of energy, turned it into a nightmare. Now your mind's wrong. You shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have said, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I don't ever want to see him again. What is that? It's your mind. You did that with your thoughts. Like again, Microsoft, where do you want to go today? Oh, I don't know, to hell. It's like you had a free choice, and that's what you decided to do? OMG. Unbelievable. And so now the only way you know how to get out, because nobody has talked to you, because they don't know, the only way you know to be okay is to match what the mind wants. Is to get people to behave the way you want, to have situations unfold the way you want, to never have happen what you don't want. And so now you're out there worrying, anxious, fighting, struggling, controlling. Anybody got control issues? Ha, 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 ha. This is why you have control issues. Don't ask, why do I have control issues? Why does he have control issues? Of course you have control issues. You want to know why? Because you're trying to control it. That's why you have control issues. You understand that? You need to control it so it matches what you made up. It's not going to do it by itself. You understand? You caught on that one, didn't you? It's not just all of a sudden one day just be the way you want, right? So you have to go out there, and now you have two choices. I want to work my way back. Now you're lost. Welcome to the human race. You're worried, you're anxious, you got to worry about everything you say, everything you do. I told you, the ultimate is walk away from a conversation you had with a friend or anybody, professor, anything. Just walk away from the conversation. It's over. Conversation's over. Is it over inside your head? Or does it say, oh my God, I shouldn't have said that. Oh God, I was doing good till I said that. What do I do? Maybe if I call him? No, I shouldn't call him. All right, anybody got that? Okay, that shows you what I'm talking about. You have painted yourself into a box that is so uncomfortable. So instead of feeling the beauty of this flow of energy, which I want to talk about more, you have turned that energy into these blocks of disturbance, into an ocean of commotion. Master said there's a river of joy inside of you. That's the river of joy. You turned the river of joy into an ocean of commotion. You formed it into all these different thoughts and patterns and emotions, and now it's hell to live in there. So you need to come out here and try to control and manipulate the world and everyone in it to match your little commotion in there. If it does, you feel good. I'm not saying you don't. You feel, oh, he likes me. He said he liked me. Why is he talking to her? Well, I don't understand. He's standing too close. Yes or no? You have to struggle to be okay, don't you? You have to struggle to be okay. It's a constant struggle. Afraid something will go wrong and struggle to try and make it go right. You're not supposed to be living like that. So you now have a choice. You either use your will, your volition, your energy, really what's left of your energy, to go out there and control people, places, and things and hope that someday you'll get a little box and make sure you keep it locked that's nice enough to where you feel a bit comfortable, get one person in the world, then a little country house and a dog, but not a barking dog. I said everything has to be exactly right, and make sure you put enough money aside so that when it's time to retire you can be happy and do your thing, right? And make sure you, whatever, right? And just paint this tiny little box out of the whole universe, right? Make this tiny little box, and the only way you'll be okay is if everything happens exactly the way you want inside that box. Every single thing has to fit, and that's a pretty small box, isn't it? And you've never gotten into it anyways. You've never gotten it enough the way you want it. You want to know why? Because you get one thing, you got to find the right mate, you find the right this, you just find, and you want super glue. You say, okay, I got this one, check, right? It doesn't stay. Next thing you know, he or she's gone out doing something you didn't expect. Next thing you know, you lose your job. Next thing you know, a hurricane comes through and you lose your house. Right or wrong? It won't behave. Darn it. You can't build these blocks and make them be what you want. That's right. You can't. So now you have a choice. You have a choice. You either continue to go out there and do what you've done, which is build these concepts and views and opinions and preferences and likes and dislikes, and then go out there and try to make the world match so you can be okay sometimes. Or you undo what you did. That is the essence of the science of yoga. You undo what you did. What do you mean? Well, the only reason I need the world to be the way I want is because I have all these concepts and views and opinions and preferences and likes and dislikes and problems inside my head. All right? And I made them. I made those. You understand that? That which turns you on turns her off. It's a very personal thing, what you like, what you don't like, isn't it? So instead of going out there and trying to make the world every moment be the way my mind made up, what if I learn to not do that? It's very big. You got to take a look and say, why did I form those thought patterns? I'm not telling you not to think about flying and inventing, and it's these thought patterns about what I like and what I don't like. Those are not scientific. Those are not analytical. Those are not intellectual. Those are what we call the personal mind. You built the personal mind about what I like, what I don't like, what should be, what shouldn't be, what she should be doing, what he should be doing. You know, just all that personal junk. You don't do that. You don't let go of that. Not suppress it, not yell at it. Cease to make it so that you freed that energy. I bothered to tell you the way I started. What happens when you do that, and I'll teach you how to do that in a minute, is you, instead of using the energy to create these thoughts, you release the energy from the thoughts. You literally undo the process. And because you're no longer holding those thought forms in that way, the energy will become free to flow again. And I'm telling you, if you do that, you will feel the ecstasy I'm talking about. You will feel little by little, as you stop holding on to all this garbage, that the energy that was doing that is now freed, and it will start flowing up inside of you, and you'll start being happy you used to be. You'll start feeling love all the time, right? With different things. You're feeling enthusiasm and joy and passion, because that's what that energy is doing. Instead of devoting yourself to this mess you created in your mind and thinking the only way to fix it is to make the world match it, that's absurd. That's what's wrong. You understand? That's not the solution. That's the problem. But you can undo this and free the energy from the job you gave it to do, which was create a world inside of my head that I think will make me happy, and then go out there and try and make it happen. So spirituality, real spirituality, depth, richness, life, is about undoing that process, about freeing yourself, liberating yourself. How do you do that? It's a very gradual process, but it is doable by everybody. How do you do that? You stop doing it. Don't worry about what you've already done. There are going to be events that unfold in front of you tonight, tomorrow. There's always events unfolding in front of you. Handle them. Honor them. Respect them. Learn from them. Appreciate that you're living in a world that lets you have experiences instead of an outer space where it's all just black. In other words, don't worry about the mess you've already made. Start with what's happening now. I swear to God, this is the highest state. It's the easiest way. Start with what's happening now. Someone doesn't say hello. Someone stands too close to somebody else. Just, come on, you're going to have issues. You know you are. The world is going to unfold, and it is not going to be the way you want. All right? Because you got a bad case of the wants, don't you? And the world's not going to do that. Start honoring the right for reality to be the way it is. So your mind will still complain about it, because that's what the mind does. When it doesn't match what the mind wants, right or wrong. When things don't match the way the mind wants, your mind goes berserk, doesn't it? It complains and talks, and your heart gets upset, and all kinds of stuff goes on. I need you to say, if I want out, I want out. I don't want to live that other way. It doesn't work. Okay? How do you get out? You sit there and say, things are going to unfold. They're just little daily things, little nothings unfold. They're going to bother me. That's because I made this mess inside where I decided how everything should be, and when it doesn't match, have you or not built thought patterns inside yourself how everything and everyone should be? Okay? When you walk into a restaurant where you've never been, don't you decide what music it should have and how close people should sit next to each other and whether anybody's smoking and what kind of food they have and how the waiters are? You bring yourself into the restaurant. It is not going to match what you want, is it? All right. Is there anything wrong with that? You have to start saying no. You have to say there's something wrong with me because I made up how everything needs to be, and I'm so egotistical, and that's ego, that I believe it should be the way I made up, right? You have to listen to what I'm saying and realize it shouldn't be the way you made up. It's not meant to be the way you made up, and it will never be the way you made up. There will be something that bothers you if you do that. Always, won't there? Right? Or I really like them, but the food was really good, but there's always going to be a but, isn't there? It will never match what you want. Okay? So you have to reach the point, not what you believe in God or believe in this. No. You have to reach the point where you cease to believe in that part of yourself. You wake up and say, what am I doing? Trying to match the world against my mess. Right? I shouldn't be doing that. I should be cleaning up my mess and honoring the unfolding of reality. And so how do you do that? With the little things that happen on a daily basis. All day there can be little things. You don't side with the problems your mind creates about them. You have to start to tolerate, for the time being, that things are going to unfold, and if they don't match what your mind wants, your mind's going to get uncomfortable. Is that okay with you? The answer has to be yes. Otherwise, it's not okay with you, and you will do something about it, which means manipulate the world to try and make it match your mind. So instead, you start paying attention to what's unfolding in front of you. It's called be here now, mindfulness, be in the present. Pay attention. This is what the world is doing now. Driver in front of you is going very slow. The light is changing when you're in a rush. Oh my God, so many things are happening. You understand that? There's a smell as you drive by. I don't know, whatever it was, right? The point is, things are going to unfold. And your mind is going to have trouble with them. You have to say okay to that. You have to be willing to say, I can handle that my mind has a problem, and just relax. I'm telling you, the highest technique is to relax inside so that you're not putting more energy into building these thought patterns that you're holding together. If you will relax inside, you will see that they dissipate much faster. They don't become a big thing. You just keep relaxing. You know, people say to me, but my mind won't relax. I didn't ask your mind to relax. I asked you to relax in the face of what your mind is doing. And that's the highest thing I can ever teach you. And if you don't understand it yet, if you practice, you'll see what I'm talking about. You won't want to do it. You understand that? You won't want to do it because it's uncomfortable. Right? It's uncomfortable because you're used to, I'm a baby inside and my mind has a problem. I'm going to make sure it goes away. Now you're sitting here saying, I do not want to devote my life to my disturbed mind. Period. Therefore, I'm going to do me in here. I'm coming back to me in here. I'm going to relax and not put more energy into these thought patterns that I built inside that are making life hell to me. And you just relax. And all of a sudden, the light changes, and you stop. It starts doing this. You relax. Next thing you know, you're enjoying your time at the light. You're enjoying your time, all right? And you just, I don't care if you want to use positive thoughts. You can replace your negative thoughts with positive ones. Whatever you do, you know, drivers in front of you going slow, and you sit there and say, wow, this is neat. All right, it's not my fault. I'll be late for work. It's kind of neat. All right, I can enjoy my drive a little bit more, right? Plus, I want to be able to drive the speed I want to drive. Therefore, I have to let other people drive the speed they want to drive. Just do something instead of getting lost in the patterns that are causing you trouble, right? You're using your will. It's like, it's really neat. We've had a deep talk because I don't usually do this. Is I told you to begin with, your thoughts are created out of an energy flow. You form them. Positive thinking means instead of getting involved in the patterns of habit that you formed, create a different thought. Just create a different thought. I like when people drive slow. So that's one thing to do. It's not the highest thing to do. The highest thing to do is to relax back into where you're watching from. The world is unfolding, the mind is getting disturbed, and you're noticing. It's called witness consciousness. You're noticing that the mind is doing that. Relax. Relax. And what you're doing, and it's neat that I started where I did. I can teach you this now. What that's doing is undoing the process of your energy leaning forward to create those thoughts. You're basically saying, I don't need to create those thoughts. I don't have to think that. So I don't need to create the thoughts. I can just relax back into the seat of consciousness, back to start with. And then the thoughts will by themselves go away because you're not feeding them. You're not paying attention to them. And what will happen is over time, it will take time. Time means years. But what's wrong with that? You're going to be doing something for the years. I just as soon have you put your energy that works. If you go out there and spend your years trying to make the world be the way you want, guess what? The next day is new. You have to start all over again. Go to a new job. You have to impress everybody over again. It didn't work. You wasted your energy. If you put your energy and invest it into your liberation, into your growth, into your freedom, it is always with you. It will never leave. It's yours. So basically, if you will relax and let go, over time, more and more these patterns will fall away because you don't need them. You don't need to be judging everything and wanting everything and not wanting everything. What will happen is the energy will become freed. And I don't know how to explain it to you, but I'm telling you, what will happen is the energy will start to go up. The energy that you released will start to go up and start feeding you. And it becomes so beautiful that now your consciousness pays attention to that. And so your consciousness doesn't get involved in all those thoughts. It gets involved in the energy flows. These are very high spiritual states. All right? You're now becoming a spiritual being. Why? Because you're involved in the flow of spirit. You're involved in the flow of energy. And the more you pay attention to that, the less you pay attention to this garbage that's in your mind. Like I said, it doesn't mean you don't do analytical or intellectual thought. You can use your mind, but that's not the problem. The problem is this garbage that you built up in your mind about what you like and what you don't like and all that personal junk. As you let go of that, then more energy comes up. Then you become more involved in that flow of energy, of spirit, of Shakti, and because of that, you let go more. It becomes what's called an ascent. That's literally the spiritual ascent. You start going higher and higher daily. Every day is more beautiful than the day before. There are no more downs. There are no more depressions. There are no more problems. There are no problems. There's just life's unfolding and you're living it. What's the problem with that? The problem is I'm not okay, and so I need to try to make it be okay. What if you are okay? What if that's your natural state, to be okay? And so more and more you pay attention to this energy flow that's awakened inside of you, this gift. And you make the choice that I'm not going back down there. I'm not going to build those thoughts. Things happen the way I don't like, fine. It's okay. Things happen that I need to deal with them, I'll deal with them. Most of the stuff you don't need to deal with, the only reason you need to deal with is you don't like it. Somebody will say hello to you, the person's driving wrong, right? There's nothing wrong with that, except you don't like it. If you liked it, hey, this is my litmus test. You're having a problem with something? What if you liked it? Would you be having a problem? Don't say that. Some things, if you're drowning, you say, I like drowning. You still have a problem. You still need to deal with this. Do you understand that? The problem wasn't whether you like it or not. There's actually a problem there. Do you see the difference? All right. But 95% of the time, if you liked it, there's nothing else to do. The only reason you had a problem is because you didn't like it. You didn't like how she's driving in front of you. You didn't like that somebody didn't say hello. You didn't like what mommy did when you were 6. Well, you're 66 now. So there's nothing to do about it except that you don't like it. Do you see the difference? So that's a real litmus test. I'm giving you a serious thing, is you sit there and check out that there's really a problem out there, not just that you're the problem. You see why I'm calling you the problem? The fact that you judged it and didn't like it, that's why it's a problem. You had a conversation with somebody, right? And they said, when you walked away, they said, I don't know. You said some stuff I didn't expect from you. We'll talk about it later. Okay, fine. That's what happened. Is that okay? Yeah, that's what happened. So walk away, right? If you're having a problem with that for the next 4 days, that person's not causing that problem. The conversation not causing the problem. You're causing the problem. You didn't like it. I tell you, I always play with myself. What if the person you had the conversation with, I was always bothering you and wanting to talk to you just all the time. It's wrong times, everything, calling you. And finally one day they said that to you. I don't know. I thought you were smarter than I expected more from you. I'm kind of disappointed in the conversation. You walked away. Whee! He'd never call me again. It's great. I don't have to do this anymore. Oh, I hope you didn't like it at all. You hear me? It could happen, couldn't it? If there's a scenario that all it did was change your view of it and it went from bad to good, the problem is you. The problem is not the event. All right? So you learn to work with yourself. And what will happen if you do that and you keep letting go of the part of you that's causing a problem, because that part is being cemented out of this beautiful energy, when you release it, that's called letting go. When you release it, it comes back into the energy. You won't know it. I've had people for years tell me, I don't feel anything. And you tell me, fine, doesn't matter. At least you're not going with your stuff. You happier? Yes, but I don't feel any energy flow. You will. The more you let go of that, that's what Christ meant when he said you must die to be reborn. That is exactly what we've talked about all night. You built yourself into this menagerie of self-concept and what I want and what I don't want. All right. So you made the end of spiritual energy become very non-spiritual. If you release it from that, if you let that fall off, die, it becomes pure energy. and you're reborn in spirit. You die of the personal to be born of the spiritual. That's what that means, all right? It's neat when it all ties back together, isn't it? The only thing that brings about true joy is to let go of yourself, to let go of all those patterns you built inside of what you want and what you don't want, likes and dislikes. And as you do that, the energy will be freed and it will start to go up. And over time, it doesn't matter what time it takes, you will come back to me someday and say, oh my God, I feel all this energy flowing inside of me. I feel more energy than I did when I was a kid. And if you're 50 years old, doesn't matter. Energy doesn't get old. Age doesn't mean you won't have energy. What makes you not have energy is you use it all up. You used it to tie together this mess inside your head. Now you suppress stuff, and right? That's where your energy is. And so you get tired all the time. No, release it. Release it. Liberate yourself. Free yourself. And the energy will naturally start to flow and go up. And that's the spiritual path. That's ultimately yoga. Yoga is about turning it back into energy and letting it go back up. And you will feel all of this. You'll feel overwhelming love. Waves of love. Anytime. Every time. Just like that. That is your natural state. So that is the spiritual life. Putting new stuff in it. All right? That's the essence of yoga. Very good. All right. Work with these things. Jagrative.